My name is Rolf Holt, and I'm currently the chair for the Peer Leadership Council, later on known as the PLC. And I'd like to introduce Tracy Green. She is the current vice chair of the NAMI Texas PLC and a representative of NAMI North Texas. There she is. She likes to rappel mountains, skydive, and bake souffles in her spare time. And she's just kidding about that. So Tracy says that being diagnosed with a mental illness turned her life and her world upside down, but that laughter and her walk with God has turned it right side up again. Tracy shares her life with Jerome, her husband of 38 years, their 3 children and 4 grandkids who give her plenty to laugh about. As far as her accomplishments, she is a voice and an advocate for those who just haven't found theirs yet. In the past few years, Tracy earned her bachelor's degree, which only took 30 years to complete, and a master's degree. So now I turn it over to Tracy.
Thank you, Rolf. Thanks, everybody, and good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm going to introduce our panelists this morning. We're starting with Diane. Diane Banks is an 18-year Army veteran who proudly credits faith, family, and fitness as tools she uses in her mental health journey, while acknowledging her NAMI El Paso, NAMI Texas, and NAMI National family for assisting to equip her to be a messenger of hope for those living and impacted by mental illness. As the NAMI Texas State PLC representative, she educates, advocates, and listens as she serves in her affiliate as a faithful teacher, mentor, and presenter in various NAMI programs. As a doctoral student in forensic psychology at Walden University, Diane is striving to complete her dissertation on hostility, justice, and unity, a study on race and policing, while her passion and purpose is to divert people from justice system involvement when necessary, while demanding that the peer voice is heard. Thank you, Diane. Next, we have, sorry about that, Grace Reynolds, newly married Grace Reynolds, serves as the Community and Affiliate Outreach Coordinator for NAMI Texas. Grace joined the NAMI Texas team in October of 2019. She holds a master's degree in professional counseling from Texas State University and a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. Grace has a passion for advocating for mental health issues and supporting those who are affected by mental illness. Grace loves serving on the NAMI Texas staff and supporting NAMI Texas affiliates and our very own Peer Leadership Council. Thank you, Grace. Bill. William Boyd, most affectionately known as Bill with a Y, is currently founder and director of education and special events at NAMI Abilene. Bill has been involved with NAMI for over 11 years and in service to the helpless, hopeless, and homeless since 1991, and is a Georgia and Texas certified peer specialist. Thank you, Bill. Brad Denson has 20 plus years experience in the healthcare industry and is a professional caregiver and peer. Driven by a sense of service to the mental health community, Brad has taken on the NAMI role of program leader for NAMI Basics, Family to Family, and Peer to Peer, as well as served in a leadership capacity in several local chapter functions and events. In addition to serving in these areas, Brad has expanded his role to serve at the state level in pursuit of further influencing mental health community outreach. Thank you, Brad. Without further ado, I ask you to please help me to welcome and thank all of the panelists for being here today. we will delve right into the questions this morning. So the first question is directed at Diane. What is the advantage to each affiliate to have a delegate and alternate representative on the Peer Leadership Council?
Tracy, that is such a great question to kick off this discussion with. But if it's okay, I want to go ahead and answer that question based off of the response from one of our very own affiliate leaders. This response is from NAMI El Paso's Executive Director, Isidro Torres, who is a great supporter of peers, the NAMI Texas Peer Leadership Council, and also the NAMI National Peer Leadership Council. Now, his response is that having a delegate and an alternate on the PLC for any affiliate is such a tremendous benefit and an honor. At NAMI El Paso, they work with peers and volunteers so closely because each and every one of them have such important stories and experiences. He goes on to say that obviously he is preaching to the choir, but he knows how important it is to take a step back from the weeds that we are in every day and acknowledge the importance of the peer voice. He stated that with each affiliate being in a different community, having those representatives on the PLC gives the affiliate the opportunity to bring their community to a table of so many communities and to talk about issues. And as peers, we can work together to solve those issues. He also stresses how vital it is to ensure diversity and inclusion in these conversations. NAMI El Paso is certainly one of the various affiliates that stand proudly behind the PLC representatives in NAMI, Texas, and that is truly what we need from each and every affiliate in NAMI, Texas.
That's awesome, Diane. Thank you for sharing Isidro's perspective on that. So additionally, how's the PLC beneficial at the state and national levels? Grace, would you like to respond to that question?
Yeah, absolutely. NAMI Texas's mission and purpose is improving the quality of life of all individuals living with a mental illness and their families. How do we, NAMI Texas, improve the quality of life of all individuals living with a mental illness if we don't involve those living with a mental illness in that conversation? Without the NAMI Texas Peer Leadership Council's voice, we would be lacking a vital component in understanding how to serve and best help those needing mental health support and resources. But it's not just the voice that the Peer Leadership Council lends us, it's their actions. They show up day in and day out for NAMI Texas, their communities, and their fellow peers. Over the last 2 years, NAMI Texas has doubled in their membership. And that increase in membership is directly related to the efforts of the current Peer Leadership Council. They are constantly seeking ways to expand their membership and their reach across Texas as they reach as many peers as possible. They are involved in NAMI Texas advocacy efforts. They train other peers to facilitate support groups. They themselves facilitate support groups weekly, monthly. They release and create educational materials and psychoeducational materials via multiple social media platforms, as well as other various forms of communication. They share their mental health journey and their story through presentations and webinars. And by doing this, they help eliminate the stigma that's often associated with mental illness. And by that, they change the conversation. Without their voice and without their actions, NAMI Texas would not be as strong as we are. The Peer Leadership Council, the PLC, is vital in achieving the mission and vision of NAMI Texas.
Well said. That's awesome. Thank you, Grace. And your perspective on a national level, Diane?
Thank you, Tracy. And Grace, that was so eloquently spoken. But I would just like to add, at the national level, we have a Peer Leadership Council that, in my opinion, illuminates how important the peer voice is. The NAMI National PLC has a unique and diverse team of individuals that are comprised of an amazing chair, Jeremiah Rainville from the great state of Rhode Island. It has an executive committee comprised of personnel from different states, 4 separate subcommittees that focus on advocacy, new membership and outreach, education, and a development committee. The National PLC works with the board of directors, the chief executive officer, as some of you may heard him speak so eloquently earlier, and other NAMI staff that focuses on finding help and providing hope by showing peers the possibility of recovery, wellness, and the potential that each of us have inside of us, embracing diverse backgrounds, cultures, and perspectives, promoting confidence, self-efficacy, and service to our mission, practicing respect, kindness, and empathy, fighting for equity and justice. Peers on the national level are instrumental in the process of giving and receiving encouragement and assistance so that peers are able to achieve long-term recovery. And one example of that is that various peers have volunteered and consented to be interviewed by NAMI's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ken Duckworth, for his new book, You Are Not Alone, The NAMI Guide to Mental Illness and Recovery. And Tracy was one of the volunteers that did that as well. And on the national level, we as well are working on growing the council by hoping to get representation from every state on our council. Despite the challenges that COVID-19 has brought over the past 2 years, peers have offered emotional support, shared knowledge, taught skills, provided practical assistance, and connected people with resources, opportunities, and communities of support. Peers offer their unique lived experience with mental health conditions by focusing on advocacy, education, mentoring, and motivation. A great example is facilitating education and support groups and working as a bridge linking people to services as they transition from hospitals or jails into the community. NAMI on the national level is also gearing up to support the rollout of 988, preparing to host something for all peers during the NAMI National Conference in Atlanta, which will be in June of next year. And as peers supporting people in recovery to connect with their own inner strength, motivation, and desire to move forward in life, even when experiencing challenges is critical. This is powerful because even at the national level, peers offer different types of support, including emotional, informational, instrumental, affiliation support. And to sum it up, for peers to continue to do all the work necessary that we need, and we need that continued support from our NAMI Chief Executive Officer, and we need that support to flow down to each and every affiliate. Thank you.
Wow, that was a mouthful, but not to toot our own horns, we sound pretty good. We're gonna keep moving forward. And so I'd like to direct a question to Brad. Brad, what is your approach to maintaining mental wellness?
Thank you, Tracy, for asking. In addition to my daily medication management, one thing that I do to maintain mental wellness is that I let my family know when I'm having an off day. Now, they're receptive and know that I might need some time to decompress when I come home from work before I interact with anyone. Sometimes they might ask, how can I help? Keeping open communication with my support team is important for them to know what I need from them. I also practice meditation and diaphragmatic breathing. And lastly, I continue to grow my knowledge of my condition and treatment by leading NAMI class programs and researching the latest developments in medicine towards mental health.
Thank you, Brad. If I may, I would like to ask you to elaborate a little bit down on how your NAMI skill sets influenced your interactions with coworkers and patients.
Well, the first thing I did is I connected with my HR director, being a little bit scared to tell anyone at work, of course, but to our San Antonio affiliate to speak, I want to let HR know that I'm willing to speak to our other employees that work with us and have one of our San Antonio affiliates speak about the NAMI community resources and the importance of mental wellness in the workplace. Now, recently, I presented my story of living with a mental health condition to the company's leadership panel. I speak openly about mental wellness just as I would about my Jeep, my hobbies, my family, or any other aspect of my life. Not in that order of priority, of course. And now my staff and other co-workers have confided in me about their struggles as peers and caregivers. My workplace has become a safe place and space to share. It is not uncommon that my urological patients also have mental health conditions. I've been able to leverage my ever-growing NAMI knowledge to change how I interact with them. For example, I may speak slower and use simple directions regarding their medications. Now, as a surgery coordinator, this is especially critical, given that I am preparing the patient for diagnostics, medication, dietary, and all other pre-surgery requirements. Now, as for empathy, I've grown in this area and have become a listening ear to families of cancer patients and those who have lost their battles.
That's pretty powerful, Brad. If I can just ask you to touch on one more area. How do you handle juggling a career living with a mental health condition?
Well, that's a really good question, Tracy. I've learned over the years that the key to managing a career with the mental health condition for me is actually taking time to pause and making sure there is a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for example, one attribute of my anxiety disorder is that I don't like to disappoint people in a high position. And I don't like to be put on the spot to answer tough or detailed questions. So I've changed my behavior, and instead of answering abruptly and worrying what they'll think, I now respond with, let me research that. Or I want to give this a little bit of thought. This pause changes our interaction because the other person knows they still have my attention, but it takes that initial pressure off of me worrying about their perception. And it gives me a little bit of time to formulate a response that the other person will trust. Now, to apply balance, I've learned to say no to overextending myself. And I make sure to disconnect from my work once I'm at home. And I listen to my body's responses to my atmosphere.
Thank you, Brad. I trust that I haven't put you on the spot this morning since you knew you were going to be on the panel. But I'd also like to, I don't want to use the word steal, but I'd like to use that. Yeah, that's right. Use your response of, let me research that, because that does take the pressure off for people who live with anxiety conditions like myself and like you said. So thank you. That's a very helpful tool.
By all means, anybody can use it.
Thank you. I'd like to turn my attention to Bill for just a moment and ask you, as well as Diane, how do you envision the mission and vision of NAMI Texas and NAMI in general in relationships to peer involvement in accomplishing goals? Mute. You're on mute, Bill.
Much as I like to talk, I'm on mute. Again, good morning, Tracy, and everyone who's with us. For me, the long period of time I've been a part of NAMI, the NAMI Texas mission statement and vision states in part that we are dedicated to improving the quality of life of all individuals who are living with a mental health condition and to ensure acceptance for all those with mental illness. And finally, in part, it states that we want to retain our grassroots values. And to those ends, I see a NAMI that involves the active participation of peers in all areas of leadership without an emphasis on their educational backgrounds, their socioeconomic factors, or having the right connections and influence. I see a NAMI that's a true grassroots organization. And I'm much afraid that if we do not encourage our peers at all levels, we will go the way of other mental health organizations whose focus has turned specifically on professionals and professionalism. I see a NAMI whose priorities include underserved communities as well, such as our rural areas, our people of color, and those in the LGBTQ plus community, sort of a wide swath of representation in our leadership from the affiliate level to our state and national boards of directors. And that those who are in those positions, those peers who are in those positions, to be accountable to those for whom they serve. Listening to those with lived experience to me is very important. And my mantra is wellness. Always pursue wellness.
That's powerful, Bill. Thank you. Diane, would you like to add to that statement? You two are on mute.
Sorry, following Bill's lead. Okay. I certainly would like to respond. Very well spoken, Bill, very well spoken. When I look at the vision statement of NAMI Texas and NAMI as it relates to peer involvement, I believe that it is vital to focus on some critical wording included in both the mission and the vision of NAMI Texas and NAMI National. Those words are all: ensuring acceptance, facilitating recovery, and fulfilling lives by a community that cares. Every one of these components are essential to being able to adequately envision NAMI Texas and NAMI to accomplish the goals that are set. And when we look at peer leadership councils, we are truly a community that cares. That is why we have to continue to educate and advocate, ensuring not to forget justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, as Bill also stated. And one way to do that is by ensuring that the peer voice is at the table of each and every discussion surrounding mental health. I mention that because it is scientifically proven that when looking at peer support and clinical practice, these two elements typically perform on an equal measure as it relates to peers being rehospitalized, relapsing, and the recovery process. It is valuable to know that peer involvement tends to offer greater levels of empowerment, engagement, and peers being able to believe in their own capacity so that they can execute at what level of recovery is related to their own specific journey. Peers are a key component in providing the hope that NAMI is founded on. And speaking of hope and the critical role that peers provide in spreading it, it would be remiss of me not to mention 988. In September of last year, the passage of Senate Bill 2661, the National Suicide Hotline Designation Act of 2020, established the plan to implement a universal 3-digit number for mental health crises and suicide prevention. And as our NAMI CEO, Dan Gillison, stated, the need for 988 is urgent. Without appropriate care, people with mental illness end up on our streets, in jails, and in emergency departments, and dying in tragic encounters with law enforcement. Although 988 is not planned to be in operation until July of 2022, there should be a major focus on 988 and on peer support, because when those calls are made, who is that caller trying to get help for? And who are peer supporters trying to support? They're trying to support us and trying to get help for us, peers. Therefore, I will close by saying it cannot be about us without us. The peer perspective has to be acknowledged, and as peers that are in a place of recovery, we have to do our homework as well to ensure that we take a seat for important discussions surrounding mental health, such as 988. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
Grace.
That if any of you were on earlier, Mr. Gillison shared a tragic story and the importance of having that 988. And if you were not able to listen in, please watch for the recording, because it was a powerful demonstration of why we need that 988 number. Thanks again, Diane, for bringing that up. So back to you, Brad, if you don't mind me asking, what is the view of the PLC's priority moving forward to achieve an adequate mental health, mental wellness services and planning program?
Well, the NAMI Texas Peer Leadership Council wants to actually be the leading peer leadership council that other state councils emulate. Now, it's our mission to advance activities and involvement of NAMI peer membership at local, state, and national levels by growing participation in advocacy issues and program development. Now, the conduit for our success will be in-person meetings, virtual meetings, and written communication. Spotlight at NAMI Texas and NAMI Texas Planning Committee via social media and other areas of endorsements while maintaining fidelity to the NAMI peer program model. We'll leverage affiliate leaders and program coordinators to actively recruit and support NAMI peer members who appears to be more active in participating in, offering, and expanding the availability of affiliate peer-based programs, and increased engagement of NAMI members who are peers, NAMI peer program participants.
That's a pretty broad but very specific goal set, and I look forward to being a part of seeing that come to fruition. So for a moment, let's pause and think about a couple of things. During a time when many organizations and NAMI affiliates were struggling to adjust to the changes caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the PLC began gaining strength. The past 2 years, the PLC has accomplished numerous achievements. In 2020, the PLC established monthly meetings for the PLC Executive Committee and the Peer Leadership Council itself, in which the entire membership attended and was actively engaged in. Maybe it's because we were all stuck in our houses, but whatever, we'll take it. In 2020, we also created an online presence, created a NAMI Texas PLC webpage and NAMI Texas PLC Facebook page. We hosted and facilitated a successful 3-day virtual retreat that was attended and watched by over 50 people throughout all of Texas. In this year so far, in 2021, we have hosted and facilitated a powerful panel discussion, Let's Talk About It Now, which focused on the topic of race, racism, and its impact on mental health. Much needed discussion. Over 50 people registered for this via Zoom, and 30 people were in attendance. It live streamed to over 463 people on Facebook Live. Woohoo! We also organized and hosted an in-person retreat in Austin, Texas this year for the PLC, where all but 2 members were there to attend, and we kept it COVID, we were COVID conscious, and everybody really responded well to that. So Grace, let me ask you then, having this information, what do you attribute to the growth and success of the NAMI Texas PLC these last 2 years?
Yeah, in the question that I answered earlier in this panel, I mentioned the PLC showing up day in and day out for their fellow peers. And I, not to be lazy, but I think that answers this question as well. I started working with the PLC almost 2 years ago, and I have not stopped working since then. There really isn't a week that goes by, some weeks, a day that goes by that I do not have a call or a Zoom meeting scheduled with members of the PLC, especially depending on what particular project that we're working on at that time. We often work on the weekends, and we work late into the evenings. Tracy, you listed off several of the PLC's key achievements, but what that list doesn't detail is how much effort and time that goes into planning those events and the activities, all those in-between moments, as we all know, anyone that's planned a project. And that planning is done by the members of the PLC. I just want to take a moment to iterate too that I am but a mere assistant in this group, in this organizations. I help take notes and facilitate and organize Zoom calls, but it is the members of the PLC that decide the direction and then plan out that course of action moving forward. You know, they continue to set goals for themselves. They work tirelessly to achieve those goals. They are extremely detail oriented, and they have a clear vision in what they're working towards. And that's reducing the stigma of mental illness, actively participating in advocacy issues, and organizing activities that help reduce the stigma of mental illness. They are enlightening the state of Texas and the world as to what living with a mental illness looks like. It looks like a doctoral student. It looks like a woman who earned her master's degree, even if it took her 32 years. It looks like a successful businessman, and it looks like a woman who is head of her household. It looks like all of us. You know, we say this all the time, but we, the PLC, are a family. The PLC has cultivated an atmosphere that is inclusive and loving and supporting and encouraging. They have cultivated an atmosphere of a group that you want to be a part of. But ultimately, I think the clearest way to answer this question is just that the PLC shows up.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Grace. I love that. I love that you said that we are a family, because that's truly who we are. And not only are we're not an exclusive family. We are always wanting to grow our family, which leads me to this final statement. You, the audience, may be asking, where does the PLC go from here? And how can we help? Well, thank you. Thank you for asking, because we surely have a response for that. Number one, and I have 3 points, and number one is recruitment of more PLC members. Currently, there are only 7 of 27 affiliates represented on the PLC: Abilene, Central Texas, North Texas, El Paso, San Antonio, Tarrant County, and Tyler. So we readily welcome all affiliates to have PLC members on this, in this community, and be a part of this family. So if your affiliate wasn't listed, we encourage you to go back to your affiliate and see why not. Find out why not. What can you do to have representatives, peers who are in recovery, be a part of this family of peers? Number 2, per our mission statement, the PLC will continue to actively participate in advocacy issues through the Public Policy and Advocacy Committee, as well as continuing to reflect justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion for those affected by a mental illness through our JEDI initiative. And then finally, the PLC Membership and Outreach Committee will be working on broadening peer representation from all across Texas, as well as expanding the peer voice in NAMI. The Education, Training, and Support Committee are devoted to further enhancing and promoting the fidelity of NAMI peer programs and involve more peers in NAMI planning and programming. And the marketing and fundraising is spotlighting NAMI Texas and the NAMI Texas PLC organization through appropriate social media implementation and fundraising, so that we can make not only the NAMI Texas PLC more visible, but NAMI Texas as a whole, as is being done this weekend through the annual conference and awards celebration that took place last night. So that is our presentation, and we are now ready and open to take your questions. And we will start with what's in the chat. I think, David, you've been monitoring that. You're on mute, my friend. You're on mute, David. There you
Okay,
go.
I have been watching the chat. It's basically been comments.
Oh, good.
Any questions?
Would you like to share those?
Sure, no.
No. Would you like to share the comments?
Well,
Please share mine.
I thought they were on the screen for everybody.
It's okay. Let me check. I don't mind sharing them. All righty, give me just a second.
Jane had a very good question that we should address.
Okay. I see hello to Michelle Mata, one of our PLC members. We're glad you made it. I see Susanna says, Brad, what an inspiring story. Thank you for sharing. Let me see.
Yes, and Jane's question is right after that, Tracy.
Okay. And Jane asked, please give us thoughts on Dan Gillison's call for workforce development, including peers in 988 crisis response teams. That is a very good question. Who would like to respond to that? I think you addressed that, Diane. Would you like to answer that?
I kind of did a little bit, but as Jane already knows, because I commented on there to her. Now, I think that because I'm still 988 is still new to myself as well. But one thing that I do know is I know the importance of it. So I like the fact that Dan is getting workforce development involved in it. But also I was telling Jane, and she already registered as well right after Dan Gillison's keynote this morning. But I encourage everybody to, and Jane kindly put it in the link as well. And then I added the 988 reimagining crisis response. But I encourage everyone, to go ahead and sign up for next week to learn more about it. But I do feel, to go back to answering her question, I believe that that's very powerful to go ahead and have workforce development, because the workforce, even though not all peers are in the workforce, we need that next step so that peers can get involved in, those that choose to work can get involved at work, and also so that the workforce can also do that extra move that we need as peers as well, and that anyone on that mental health platform. But I'll be looking for you guys next week. Go ahead, Bill.
In addition, with regard to workforce development, I think it's really, as Diane just said, a powerful initiative, because when we look at our workforce, not only are there individuals who are in the workforce who have a diagnosis, there are many who don't have diagnosis but are experiencing some of the very same symptoms that we have, and there are some family members in the workforce that just don't know which way to turn. So I think by amplifying our efforts with workforce development, then especially during this time of pandemic and variants, and the stressors that are associated with that, then individuals in the workforce will have a go-to, so that we won't have just a nation that just devolves because of all of the stressors and the isolation and the masks and all of the other traumatic experiences that some of us have had.
Very well said, both of you.
Get out of my head, Tracy. I just wanted to add one thing, because I know that Michelle commented on here, and I think that this is so powerful as well. Michelle stated that we are no longer those people or them. We are us, and we are peers, but most of all, we are all family. Thank you, Michelle, for that.
And you too, Jane. I think there may be many potential certified peers, many family members would qualify, for example. You're right about that. Jane and I know each other for when I served NAMI Greater Houston, and she is actually ex officio.
Oh, ooh, ooh.
NAMI's NAMI Greater Houston's past president. Hi, Jane.
Hi, and gosh, we used to have a NAMI Greater Houston rep on the peer council. That was you, Tracy.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what, Jane? Me and Tracy spoke about that on last week. So, and we're working on getting both of those two spots filled. So
Okay.
hopefully you all will have someone soon. And also, Tracy, I see that Susanna also made a good point on here. She said that Dan's point about also recruiting people who look like us in the profession is necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And this is a path. The peer council is a real good path. I wanted to say that I'm ex officio president, but I'm now the chair of our advocacy, public policy and advocacy committee, which is one reason why I'm here today. One reason was Tracy. So thanks for doing this.
Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I had a question that I wanted to address with Brad, if I can, and that is to elaborate a little bit on how do we acquire more peers. You spoke a little bit about, and I can't remember now. Let me look at my notes. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, about developing the peer leadership on the affiliate, state, and national level. Do you have any ideas about how that can take place?
One thing I think that will help us a whole is our goal to reach out, i.e. social media, more communication, let them know that we're here. But a lot of it comes down to those actual affiliate leaders. Most affiliate leaders in some of these affiliates probably don't even know, hold on.
Real life here.
He just wanted to help him speak.
Brad, you're on mute.
Sorry, I have 5 dogs in the house and I'm only one here. So basically where I left off is a lot of our affiliate leaders actually don't even know we exist, to be honest with you. Right. When I spoke with my affiliate leader up front, at first they didn't even know I was on the Peer Leadership Council. So I think it boils down to education of all the different affiliates that are out there, and requesting of them to choose peers that can actually be on the council and allow us to grow. But a lot of that comes with communication, and communication is always the downfall of many businesses and many groups that try to form, because without the key part of communication, you go nowhere.
Very good. Thank you. And that is one of our biggest goals, is communicating for the PLC. And we do that through having discussions like this, putting on programs like Let's Talk About It Now, and having a presence on Facebook at the NAMI PLC page. So thank you. That was very helpful. Are there any other questions that anyone has?
I don't have a question, Tracy, but I just have a quick comment, but I see that Jane put something in here. I just love Jane. Jane said, a suggestion to recruit, a description of the task and involvement of a member on the PLC. And thank you so much, Jane, for that. And that kind of brings me to one of the things that I was getting ready to say. You know, that's why it's so helpful to have folks like, and I'm sorry, you're gonna have to help me out, Tracy, because I can't remember his name, but it's so helpful to have folks like Jane Isidro from NAMI El Paso, but who was the past president from NAMI Greater Houston. I see his face, but I just can't think of his name.
Past executive director was Neil Sarahan.
Yeah, Neil. Yeah, I mean, I never forget when I was trying to get the position filled when you and John came on before. I mean, he was just so super excited and ready to help. He didn't really even understand what the Peer Leadership Council was, but he was ready to, when he found out what it was, he was ready to be like, okay, yeah, which one do they want to be? You know, he was just helpful. So, and that's what we really need. And Jane, to your comment, we've been sending that out to, and we'll continue to send it out, and we'll continue to keep digging it in until we get those affiliates that aren't really paying attention to pay attention. But thank you so much for that.
Just a little clarification. I opened up the PLC page on NAMI, Texas, and it would be great to have that information on that webpage.
Thank you.
We'll do that. Thank you so much.
That's very insightful. And the current interim ED is Angelina Hudson. And she's quite a blast herself. So yeah, so we'll be connecting with her as well. I have been, along with Diane, doing some personal recruitment and poking around, because I still have those wonderful connections from NAMI Greater Houston. But yeah, we need to get with Angelina to get things going even more. Any other questions or comments today? Thank you, Susanna. We did get your comment that the PLC is very impressive. We appreciate that. Spread the word. And look us up on Facebook under the NAMI Texas Peer Leadership Council. We have a page there, and we are always starting new campaigns. We have this phenomenal poem featured by one of our members on there about peers, and it is so impressive. And we are continually adding content, especially about mental health and mental illness. So please follow us on Facebook. We would appreciate it. Check us out. We're having a lot of fun developing and growing this family of peers.